Road rage is all the rage in the long-awaited adaptation of the long-running PlayStation game Twisted Metal, but Season 1 was only a prelude. Calypso's psychotic tournament that's the backdrop of the game is set to take place in Season 2, and the brackets are already filling up. Let's see who's been set up for the brawl.
And if you stay, you'll get answers.
One thing is for certain, Anthony Mack's John Doe is a far more chipper fella than the one that first appeared in the peak entry in the series, Twisted Metal Black. For Twisted Metal Black, he had the same amnesia, but his was caused when he tried to avert a terrorist attack in his role as an undercover cop. Unfortunately, he regains his memory along with Calypso being on the FBI's most wanted, so Calypso shoots him. All the endings in Twisted Metal Black are bummers. It's a whole thing. While John Doe's one true love in Season 1 was his WRX dubbed Evelyn, he ends the season being introduced to his in-game ride, Roadkill.
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 Whether he'll be driving Roadkill or Quiet, who ends the series with the car remains to be seen. He's being enlisted by Raven, who drove the hearse Shadow in the game, so it's possible John Doe will at least start the tournament in Shadow. For the series, Miranda Watts was a key member of the rolling community of truckers, who had one wicked side project in building a fighting vehicle out of an open-wheel race car, perhaps a Formula Mazda. Appearing in Twisted Metal 2, Small Brawl, and Head On, it's obviously one of the fastest cars in the game, but also the most fragile. Miranda is the pilot of Twister in Head On, with her twin sister doing the driving in the other two titles. In the game, Miranda ends up in the tournament after Amanda entered then disappeared.
Hold it right there! Where is she?
I'm sorry, my dear. Where is who?
Amanda's wish was to travel faster than light. She's a woman of simple yet demanding tastes. Amanda has yet to appear. We haven't seen Twister's tornado weapon yet either, but then we haven't seen any of the car's special weapons. Amanda might be nowhere to be seen, but Amber Rose is now there to provide some personal stakes. In Twisted Metal 3, Amber Rose was an environmentalist who drove a colorful car that resembled a Volvo 544, with the aim of stopping the tournament and finally just for the world to be covered in roses. Amber survives Sweet Tooth's unprovoked attack on the semi. A Volkswagen Beetle is set up in her yard before joining the convoy, so look to that taking up the flower power duties. Preacher and his battle ride Brimstone appeared in Twisted Metal Black, Twisted Metal Lost, and 2012's Twisted Metal. Not only was he my weapon of choice for the game, he was plenty dark enough for the entire series.
He will rise up this very night.
In this instance, he appears to actually share a lot with his video game counterpart. He tells John Doe that while he was possessed by a demon during a baby's exorcism and killed a church full of people. That's pretty much his story in Twisted Metal Black, except that it turns out there never was a demon, it was just the preacher's delusion. He's also considered responsible for Sweet Tooth's flaming head, though that has clearly changed and may have been responsible for disfiguring Billy Joe Stillwell, the driver of Junkyard Dog. Neither of which have appeared yet, but you have to imagine a tow truck will make an appearance at some point. Preacher's ride Brimstone hasn't appeared yet, but it's bound to. Brimstone's special weapon was to fling a follower strapped with dynamite onto his opponent and have them explode. Yeah. Axel is one of the wildest designs in the entire franchise. Depending on which version you play, Axel was either strapped between two giant tires, or he strapped himself there, in that case to avenge his wife. In the other instances, he was put there by his father. Axel only appears in a photograph as Calypso builds his brackets. I never got the hang of driving Axel, but that might be the temptation, to drive those two giant tires into anything that moves. Bloody Mary from Twisted Metal Black and the series share a similar background in that they're both less jilted than they feel. In the game, she's just an awkward girl oversold on the notion of romance who snaps when it doesn't work out, eventually murdering her friend at her own wedding. In the series, she's an old flame of John Doe who's a little upset that Doe let Quiet drive Evelyn.
You just met and you're already going on rides?
She also spills the beans about John Doe's special mission, which causes a ballroom brawl. Her picture is up on the board, but we have yet to see her battlewagon, Specter. Mr. Grimm is one of 3 characters and vehicles that appear in every version of the game with seemingly the worst choice in vehicles, a motorcycle. It works out because in all 3 versions, Mr. Grimm is the literal Grim Reaper, frequently after Calypso's soul, or everyone's, or just wanted to retire. In Twisted Metal Black, he's a traumatized Vietnam vet, and in Twisted Metal 4, he's a kid in a pirate costume because why not? In 2012's Twisted Metal, his origin has a tint of Ghost Rider to him. His father was a stunt performer who died, and Grimm is in the contest to reverse that, having lost his humanity in the quest. While not on the grid, Dollface makes a brief appearance, suggesting she might be John Doe's long-lost sister. In Twisted Metal Black, she was an assistant to a cruel mask maker who locked a mask on her after she made a mistake. She piloted Darkside, a semi-truck. It's not clear if that will stay the case or if one of the convoy members will fill that role. Sweet Tooth, aka Needles Kane, is almost certainly going to appear as the most recognizable character in the game, and delightfully mad in the series. It's hard to imagine the tournament ending without Warthog, Calypso's championship drive. Mike and Stu had an unfortunate series of events after being exiled. In Twisted Metal 2, the pair drive the monster truck Hammerhead. With the pair reunited, one hopes Hammerhead isn't far behind. We mentioned Raven up front, which still creates the possibility of her driving Shadow. However, a pink hearse featured in the series as a dual nod to both Shadow and the flame-throwing lowrider Thumper. Mr. Slam demonstrated his unique gifts at the pit stop. Whether his tractor Battlewagon will appear remains to be seen. Some one-and-done characters appeared at the pit stop, including Twisted Metal 4's Pizza Boy, who drives something that resembles a WRX wagon. Granny Dread piloted Hammerhead in Twisted Metal 3, but didn't make it to the season finale of the series. But that might end up being how Mike and Stu get a hold of the monster truck. Agent Stone will no doubt play some role in the tournament, whether or not he enters with his police car Outlaw. Is the machine guns being less lethal than they are kind of annoying, unless the car is particularly close to being destroyed? The Red Power missile made an appearance, but there's a world of missiles available like my lazy favorite, the homing missile.